American people didn't vote to turn this country into Bernie Sanders' socialist vision.
We all know Mitch McConnell, the man who thinks that anything to the left of hunting the poor for sport is communism. And of course, he's stepped in once again to stop something good from happening in the United States of America.
On the Democrat side, the other thing that they're trying to do over and over again is pass through their election law, the federalizing of elections. That didn't pass, but they're going to give it another shot. Where do you think it goes?
Well, I hope nowhere.
And this right here has to be one of the most shameless things that Mitch McConnell said in this interview.
There's not a single state in America enacting new laws after the pandemic passed, trying to suppress the vote based upon race. If the Justice Department thinks any state is doing that, they can go to court. My prediction is they're going to lose. They're going to lose in Georgia, they're going to lose in Texas.
Mitch McConnell said, oh, but the Voting Rights Act still exists. But does it though? The Supreme Court already gutted most of the Voting Rights Act. And he said, oh, well, I'm sure that all of the voting restriction rules that states are putting in place across the country are going to succeed through the court system. Because of course they are. Because Republicans have been stacking the courts for a decade now. Republicans refused to approve a record number of judges under the Obama administration and then jammed through as many judges as they possibly could under the Donald Trump administration. So of course the voting restrictions are going to succeed in the courts that are stuffed with Republican hacks. This is why so many Democrats have been talking about court reform for the past year. But of course, that's not going to happen, once again, because Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema.
It's against the law in America to discriminate against voters on the basis of race. The Voting Rights Act is still intact.
Now, the Democrats for some time have been trying to pass this bill called the For the People Act. It would have done a lot of amazing things when it comes to getting people the right to vote. There are a lot of people that are unhoused, so they don't have an address to vote from. There are a lot of people that can't afford to get an ID. So in states with voter ID laws, they can't vote there. Between 2016 and 2018, about 17 million people were purged from the voting rolls. Currently, about 6 million people are denied the right to vote due to a prior felony. When you combine those two things together, that adds up to almost 10% of the voting age population of the United States of America. Now, if you ask me, I think 10% of the entire voting age population would make a pretty significant difference when it comes to elections. But you know, math is hard. Now, all of this leads to a lot of incredibly, unsurprisingly racist results. And through these efforts, Republicans have managed to disenfranchise countless voters of color. So it's a pretty significant event when Mitch McConnell steps up to stop Democrats from passing any type of bill that would stop Republicans from doing this. But this is the thing. The For the People Act was many months ago. It already went up and failed. And one of the reasons it fell apart is because Joe Manchin, in his infinite galactic brain wisdom, thought that he should make some sort of pre-compromise with the Republicans that they would definitely jump on board with. So earlier this week, Joe Manchin's compromise bill went up to the Senate floor, and you'll never guess what happened. It turns out Mitch McConnell decided to shut it down. It's almost as though Joe Manchin has no idea what he's talking about. Nor do any of the centrists, really, who claim to say that they can make some sort of compromise with these obvious fascists who have no respect for the democratic process. It's hard to decide who to be more mad at. Mitch McConnell doing the predictable thing of shutting down voting rights around the country, or the Democrats who are refusing to hold Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema accountable for throwing the entire country under the bus. This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with my content.